Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I'm gonna be completely honest. I had so much issues with this episode. I felt like it was just all over the damn place. I felt like there were characters that were just there to be there. That just was like, you know what? Let's talk about the characters that were there just to be there. And this is Felicia and Mac. I There's one point where Felicia and Cynthia talking about going down memory lane with Georgie and Maxie and stuff like that, and we're like, oh well, she starts talking about it like, oh man, could you just imagine like reliving it again and this, that, and the third? I'm like, Felicia, during that time, weren't you all playing spy or chasing Frisco while he was there taking care of three girls by himself for the most part? You're talking about that memory lane? I just it it's almost as though they felt the need to skip past the part where she abandoned her children to go play spy with Frisco. But it was all like, oh, we're just gonna go down memory lane, and and Felicia was like, oh well, you know, she said something along the lines of, I know that you didn't really have your own child or whatever. And I'm just like, why does that matter? I mean, Georgie and Maxie and Robin was pretty much like his children, regardless of biology. So I don't even understand where that came from. It just their whole scenes just it bothered me. It bothered me when she started talking about going through memory lane like that was not a thing. And okay, sure, whatever. So Alexis is still at the hospital and she wants to sit there and so-called get closure with Harmony. And I'm just like, you do realize that when Sam lied and was like, oh, that's her sister, where's Harmony at? And the doctor was like, well, she's in ICU right now. I'm like, so let me get this straight, Alexis. You're going to go there to talk to Harmony while she's in the ICU to get closure. That, that makes sense. And I understand Sam was like, well, this is your last chance. I was like, but she can't hear what you're saying. Like, and she can't respond to you. I don't understand what kind of closure you think you're going to get from her. And that's what she does. She go in there and she starts talking to, Harmony, because at this point she's pretty much a captive audience. And she's like, well, she starts talking about her friendship with her and how she lied to her. And, she saw a glimpse of goodness with her. But, I was just like, what is it supposed to do for you, Alexis? And then afterwards, because she sees Michael and Willow, she's like, oh, I'm sorry or whatever, and she walks off. And Sam is like, well, did you get did you get the closure you're looking for? Did you get the closure from the woman from the woman that's literally looked like she's in a damn coma? Did you get closure? So she says, yes, no, I don't know. It's a great scene. That's a great scene that you just walked us through. We literally sat there for 2 minutes so you can sit there and say something to a woman that we don't know if it's going to be a vegetable or dead. And you felt like doing it. And then afterwards, you said yes, no, and I don't know. That's exactly how I feel. So Michael is still trying to get updates about Harmony and is talking to Britt, and Britt's like, we don't know yet. And Michael, well, let's be honest, he acts like an entitled dick. And, he's all like, oh, that's not good enough. But then he apologizes and he walks it back and he apologizes. He's just like, yo, I'm just worried. And, my son's need to ask some questions. We can't really give him answers. And he got a lot going on between that and Sonny and everything like that. So he does apologize, and not gonna lie, I don't really remember what happens next. But I'm missing the scene. Oh, okay. I don't exactly remember how this whole thing. Okay, now I remember. So at some point, Michael goes back in there and is talking to Willow, and Willow found out from Carly that, well, Harmony tried to kill her. Okay, try to drug her up, try to kill her, try to fight her and Alexis about some sort of big secret. But she doesn't get a chance to tell what the secret is because at some point, Michael and Will, no, Michael and Britt come in there to sit there and talk about her condition, being in ICU, and it's kind of touch and go at this point. Now, there's a point where Michael gets in there, and I think this is before Britt comes in there. But at this point, Willow knows what happened with Harmony and Carly and everything like that. And she's like, well, there's something that we got to sit there and tell you because Michael's like, yo, what's going on? And she's like, well, I can't really get into it right now because my energy has to go towards Harmony, and I just really can't think about it. I was like, wait. Let me get this straight. You're telling me that you can't be bothered to tell Michael that your mother tried to kill his mother because you just don't have the energy and you want to focus it all towards Harmony? Okay, all right, fine. We're doing that. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So yeah, I think at some point, that's just when Willow finds out that with Harmony is kind of touch and go. She's in the ICU right now, and then they go and see her, and Michael's like, I'm gonna let you get some time alone with her. And Willow has a ton of questions. She's like, yeah, my mother, this, that, and the third, but how could you be sitting there trying to kill people? I thought you were on this path of redemption, but was it all an act? This, that, and the third. Then she starts breaking down crying, and I'm just like, so you love Wiley like he's your own. And your mother just tried to kill Wiley's father. And I get it, that's your mother, blood and everything like that, or whatever. But I just don't understand how. I'm having a hard time trying to understand. I'm gonna tell you exactly why I turned around in a second. I'm having a hard time trying to understand why, knowing what your mother just tried to do to your little boy's father, and you're in the room, and his grandmother, and you're in the room, you're sitting there crying, you're all like, oh, you got to pull together, this, down the third, and I'm just, and by the way, she does wake up. Um, but I'm just having a hard time trying to understand, like, your mother just tried to kill a bunch of people. It let God, at this point, you were not that much, older. Harmony pretty much let Shiloh do whatever the hell he wanted to with you. And, like, where is all this sentimental, where is all this coming from? And again, I get it, that's her mother, but I'm just like, what? Oh, and by the way, the reason why I turned around, because, well, neighbor's cat. Like, I just went outside to try to feed, and it looked at me, and it ran away, then it came back and looked at me, and it started meowing again while I was in the middle watching it, and I had to stop because I was just like, I'm not going to sit there and listen to this cat start crying or food or whatever. So I went outside and tried it again. I did that like 3 times, so now I'm at this point just getting a little kind of frustrated. But I'm a cat person, so, you know, I'm an animal person in general. So I want to talk about Maxie and Austin for a minute. Because at some point, they finish their dinner, and, Maxie's getting ready to pay, but Austin's like, no, 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 I got this. I'm a doctor. I can sit there and, I can pay for your food or whatever. And Maxie just has this look on her face like, I don't know if she's offended or whatever, but they get into this whole thing, and Austin's just like, well, you paid for this, so I figure I paid for that, to kind of make things balance or whatever. So whatever argument that they're about to get into, it seemed like it just kind of just like that. But now, at some point, they wind up seeing Spinelli. I guess Spinelli was meant to trying to hit on someone that wanted rejecting him, and Maxie calls him over. And this is where this whole conversation, I'm still trying to understand whatever this scene was supposed to be. Because there's Maxie's sitting there looking, it's like, oh, dating water, whatever. And Maxie, I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand why Maxie needed to point out the fact that Spinelli got rejected. Like, no, it's okay, we all saw that you got rejected by her, and I'm just like, Maxie, that didn't, in no way, shape, or form, how is that supposed to help him? But then at some point, Austin tries to give him advice, and Spinelli acts like a dick, and somewhere along the lines, I guess Austin gets roped into spending time with Spinelli doing some sort of activity that's outdoors that's probably not something that what he wants to do. But I guess Maxie in some ways feels that, Austin can kind of sit there and help him out as far as being a friend. Because Maxie points out the fact that, he lost Jason, he lost his wife or girlfriend. I think that was his wife. I'm not too sure. But, he seems like he's lost and can probably use like a mentor or whatever. And it doesn't really seem like he has a lot of friends outside of, I was about to call it Kelly Monaco, outside of Sam. So, you know, so that happens. Now, at some point, Spinelli runs into Sunny. And this is another one of those odd conversations where we're just like, where is this going? Um, hold on one second. So Sunny and Spinelli wound up having this weird conversation about, the fact that Sunny spotted, Spinelli looking at Maxie, thinking that, he still has a thing for Maxie. And Spinelli's like, hey, listen, we share a child together, but that's pretty much about it. Like, I'm gonna love her, but just love her, not in a romantic sense. And Sunny just points out the fact that, listen, if it's her or if it's the other girl, whoever, whoever it is in your life that you care about, make sure that you tell them because, you don't know if you're going to get the chance to sit there and do that. Or something along those lines. So Nelly's happy that he got some good advice from Sonny, which I'm going to be completely honest. Where is Benelli's like story going at this point? I'm, I know it might be going somewhere. It may be going somewhere. You know what? This is something I forgot to say in the last couple of reviews. When I was watching DC Sanctuary's review, when he was talking about there's a bunch of storylines, like they're giving us a lot, and he brought up the question of are we getting too much? And it's kind of weird because as far as us watching stuff entertainment wise, like yo, listen, we want as much as we can get. But at the same time, it feels like after a while we kind of lose track of what's really going on. And, even with the writers, like, hey, if we're ever going to get to that Marshall storyline, oh, and then we got the whole Liz storyline. Oh, and then we got the whole Brits and that they're trying to get over Jason, even though they had like a weekend fling or whatever. You got so many things that's going on. And then you have Martin Gray, and hey, remember Cyrus? Remember that was a whole thing, and then there was the whole Jennifer Smith thing. So it's like, what is really going on? Like, even as I'm talking about it, I'm just like, damn, I'm just like, throw out like about five other storylines that they either didn't get to or just kind of halted or whatever. So I guess the question really is, are we actually getting too many storylines? Like, are we getting way too much? And I know has nothing to do with um GH, but in some ways, this is why and I hate saying this, this is why I like Days, because Days will have a couple of things going, but it's never at a point where it feels like it's just way too much. Um, so yeah, I guess the question is, do you think that they're giving us too much? So Nina runs up bumping into Sunny, and Sunny's there, I guess, having some sort of business thing going on. Or he said to one of his goons at this point, because let's be honest, he doesn't have like a right hand man, is hey, when you see that guy coming, you know what to do or whatever. Okay. So runs into Nina. They start talking for a little bit, but then Obrick comes in and kind of pulls her away. And Nina's like, yo, that's mad rude. Like, you didn't say anything. You just kind of just like, what the hell was that about? And Ulbrich gets into this argument. I guess she's upset that, Scott and Sonny has beef together, and she's all like, oh, well, if he tries to do anything, then, he's going to fill my raft. And, now at this point, you got Nina sitting there trying to defend Sonny, and I'm just looking at this whole thing. I'm like, yo, in reality, they both got history that goes well beyond y'all two just meeting these men for the first time. So I don't even understand why the hell are y'all arguing about this for? Which they kind of realized after a while and just kind of just dead the whole conversation. But it was like, what was the point of this? Like, what was the point of them sniffing get into an argument, like, about Scott and Sonny that had nothing really to majorly do about them? Like, their issues go way deeper than whatever crap y'all got going on, whatever romance y'all two got going on. So why are we arguing about this for? And then, Britt gets there, and Britt is, she's had a day because, as a doctor, you're supposed to sit there and find a way to detach yourself from your patients and things of that nature, which I'm going to be honest, I don't understand how they do that. That is a skill set I don't even know if I even want to have. Um, but, she's sitting there thinking about that and thinking about how close she is with her mother and how, well, she practically almost killed her mother with a damn harpoon gun. So you start talking about that, and at some point, Nina leaves, and Britt starts talking about her matchmaking thing, about how the cat guy stood her up, and it was like, hey, listen, not all cat guys are you know bad men. I'm just saying, just want to throw that out there. They started talking about that, and what Obrick said, I'm just hoping that Britt actually starts to get it, you know. Because Obrick is like, listen, I get it. No man is ever really sit there and really match up to Jason, but you know, he wouldn't want you sitting there living in the past and kind of just closing yourself off from new possibilities. Which, by the way, side note, which I think at this point everyone knows, but if they don't know, Steve Burns, I think that's his last, or you pronounce his last name, is going to be on a new soap opera. Well, kind of an old soap opera, but somewhat new. Days Beyond Salem, which I am looking forward to, and I feel like at this point, I feel like I should almost do another video, a separate video, but I just want to let people know that he's going to be on Beyond Salem. Um, so that's going to be a thing. Anyway, point is, Ulbrich is like, listen, you got to sit there and start living in the past and start living your life, no matter how long or short you have. Um, which is one of those things that Jason wasn't there hammering in that whole time. So I'm just like, oh, come on, like, what are we doing? And maybe she listened and maybe she didn't, and I guess we will probably find out, but most likely she probably did. I hope she did. I really do, because honestly, to tell you the truth, after a while, she starts to sound like a broken record, and she does wind up running into Spinelli, and, Spinelli's like, listen, just give the service another try, and, yeah, you're going to get some bad matches. That's kind of like how online dating works. But, don't close yourself off, and so she's like, thank you, and Nelly smiles, and I'm still wondering where the hell is this character going as far as the storyline. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate Spinelli. He has his quirks sometimes. I feel like my favorite times and my favorite storylines with him is with when he was involved with Jason, when he was involved with Sam. Um, But like even when he was with Maxi Austin, touch if I think like him and Maxi were probably like the best because they were so polar opposite, and them working together, their scenes together were just priceless, and I loved it. I loved the worlds colliding because, to be honest, they didn't even Spinelli didn't even like her in the beginning. I believe the phrase was she was the quote unquote bad blonde one. Yeah, I go back that far. Um, so I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know if they're gonna sit there and try to get her with get him with Maxie again. What are they doing with his character at this point? At some point, Nina does want to meet up with Sonny. I guess he finished his business or is still doing business. It's Sonny got a lot going on. Sonny was sitting there thinking about his conversation with Michael and thinking about the fact that, well, his last little comment, his very dickish, immature, and surprising attitude towards him of, well, if you want my forgiveness, you're going to have to beg. This is his words, and I still can't believe those came out of his mouth, but they did because I don't even know why the hell they actually came out of his mouth. That's a really good question. I mean, I know Sonny has been mad before, and when his temper goes, he will say things and do things that has crossed lines. He said things. I remember he said one thing, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it because even as a Sonny fan, I was like, "Wow, bro, that crossed so many damn lines." Take a wild guess if you remember it, because I know he said a couple of things. This was what he said to Claudia Sakara when she lost her baby, and him saying something along the lines, "I'm glad that our child is dead" or something like that. And I was like, "Whoa!" Like even back then, when I was much younger and I was still naive towards the world and relationships and things of that nature, even back then, I was like, "Bro." I was in high school. I think I might have been in high school when he said, and I was like, "Bro, wow, like really?" Um, so I guess in some ways I shouldn't be surprised that he said that to Michael, but like your own kids, really? Your favorite, not just your. Just gonna let that go. Just gonna move on. Damn, I almost forgot about them. And that is Liz and Finn. So Finn comes over there to sit there and try to distract Liz by playing some cards. And he talks about his spa day with his daughter. It was a cute scene, okay? It was a cute scene. Every time Violet's on there, it was, with the whole manicure and everything like that, it was a cute scene. But, he does that sit there and try to distract her. He plays cards, to try to distract her. And at some point, Liz starts talking about how she was hearing voices and, it almost sounded like it was somewhat, you know, um, otherworldly or whatever, and she said that she feels between, Jake and the Ouija board and Lucy and the spirits and everything like that. She's just like, she doesn't know what the hell is going on. It's funny because I was at work today and I was talking to someone and she was like, well, what do you think about this whole Liz storyline? I was like, yeah, I think it's the ID. I think it's the ID. It's either DID or it's Franco's. I know they said that I forgot her name, but I know they said that she was like locked away in Ferncliff or whatever. But I'm like, yo, listen, there's a good possibility that she could have got out. I can't remember her name, but it wasn't Betsy. It was the other one. It's because it's either the other Franco's mother or it's Liz. And if they here's the thing, if they throw in ghosts, I don't even know if I'll be upset. I don't even think I'll be upset. Um, because they've done stuff like that before, and not just on Port Charles, but they've done stuff like that recently. With Mike coming down, with that really sad scene of Oscar being taken away by Lila and Edward. They've done stuff like that before, even with Spencer's mother when he was young. Courtney, when she came down to sit there and talk to them. They've done stuff like that to some extent, so it'll be kind of odd because those things were, I don't want to sit there and say they were isolated, but they weren't like a big, like major part. Like this whole Liz stalking thing is a major thing that everyone's there on. So if they just explain it away by being like, oh no, it was a ghost. It was Franco's ghost. What are we doing at this point? Would anyone be upset? Let me just ask a random question. Would anyone be upset if they decided just out of the clear blue, they say, you know what? Let's make it Franco's ghost. Would anyone be upset? I don't know how I feel. I don't think I would be upset, but it would just be an odd move. Then again, it's a soap opera, so a lot of times, logic and common sense goes out the window for plot. So at this point, should I really be that upset? Yeah. All right. I think I'm actually done at this point. I think I kind of covered everything, and if I missed something, then I don't think I'll be too surprised. But I think I kind of covered everything. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. You know what? Before I go, because clearly I just can't shut up, I want to thank everyone for their just to support and stuff like that. As far as me taking a break from Y&R and B&B, because honestly, tell you the truth, here's the thing. I did that video, which I'm surprised I got like 500. It got more like Y&R and B&B review, but I feel like when I did that video, it was like doing a bad breakup. Like, I thought about that all day at work. I was like, my goodness, that video came off across like a really bad breakup, but it felt like here's the thing, when I'm able to sit there and do this on a full time basis, I would love to get back to it. But right now, I just feel like doing days and GH is just so much more of a weight off my shoulders, as far as like doing videos at like 10 o'clock at night, like, oof. Don't get me wrong, I love talking about it, but I love also knowing that right now, since I got to go to work at like, I'll be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, that I only have to do one more. I'm only going to be doing one more review, and then I'm good. So thank everyone for supporting me on that decision and stuff like that. Anyway, like I said, thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.